This is the German Touring Car Masters, today coming to you from Oschersleben, Germany. This is Oschersleben, near the city of Magdeburg. It's the home of the Motor Park Oschersleben. At one time it was open field. Now it's a tribute to motorsports. And touring cars are a big part of what keeps this hotel busy. Today it'll be hosting the third event in the German Touring Car Masters. Once again, the paddock area full of touring cars ready to hit this exciting circuit. 2.28 miles long. Get a good look at the pit area here at Oschersleben. The track opened in 1997. Today, it's ready to go. It's one of the fastest tracks on the circuit. It's also one of the most difficult to pass. But there's more than just racing here. Would you like to try to drive some of these yourself? These aren't quite the same type of cars that will run in the German Touring Car Masters, but then again, you never know what kind of excitement you might find. Now, these versions will go just a little bit quicker. And if you go to the academy, well, then you get a chance to learn to drive these. But today, it's these drivers who have the spotlight. The drivers from the German Touring Car Masters and their fans. Over 58,000 fans approach the track this weekend. There's a look at it. You see the start-finish line. That's the fastest segment of the course right there, down that front straightaway. Look at the back section, though, and that chicane back there. It's unbelievably fast. On the pole, a surprise, Marcel Fessler from Switzerland. Next to him, Laurent Aiello. Then comes Bernd Schneider and Uwe Alzen in Mercedes. In the next row, more Mercedes with Dumbreck, and next to him, another Audi with Ekstrom. And the cars continue. As you can see, we have Mercedes and Audis. The real problem is what happened to the Opels. Here's Albers. And it's a case now, there is your first Opel. Manuel Reuter starting well back in the pack. They've had their problems. They can't get them sorted out. We're into the qualification race, 9 laps. This sets the field for the big race later in the day. And Fessler gets a great jump in his Mercedes. Laurent Aiello is running second. It looks like Bernd Schneider tucked into third place. Not quite. Uwe Alzen is still inside. They're running side by side for third place. Everybody else seems to be going well. Nobody's giving an inch back there in third. That's Schneider on the right, Alzen on the left. The silver against the black Mercedes. And way back in the pack, the Opels. Best qualifier, 12th position. Fessler out in front. Then comes Aiello. This should sort it out, and there it is. The key point on this racetrack, 3 left-hand turns. You get through these fast, you've got a good chance to be out in front. Schneider took advantage of being inside, going into those left-handers, and has taken over third place. So Marcel Fessler takes the lead. Laurent Aiello is second. Bernd Schneider is third. Your second and third place cars are the ones that have won races so far this season. Fessler is the surprise. He qualified in the very last minute for the pole position. Schneider was on the course, made a small mistake, and couldn't beat him. So one of the young drivers on the series, Marcel Fessler, 25 years old from Switzerland, took the pole, and he has the lead here in Oschersleben in the qualifying race. The field sorting itself out. Things not quite as aggressive as they were at the Nürburgring. Metal was flying all over the place at the Nürburgring. Here everybody seems to be a little bit better under control. 22 cars start the qualifying race. We have 2 new drivers in the field. David Salins is in for Pedro Lamy. There is the Mamaro car, the one independent. He kind of got bumped there. And off he went. He's the independent driver, the lone non-factory driver in the field. And Manfred Winkelhock in that orange Opel is spun by Marcel Tiemann. Now, Tiemann is another of the new drivers. He's replacing Bert Meinlander. We'll talk about him in a moment, but look at this. Another tough day for the man they call Smokin' Joe. You're riding now with Martin Tomczyk, the young driver that did so well at Nürburgring, and you get a good launch of that very tight chicane as we head out into the back section of the course here in Oschersleben. This is a long straightaway, and it goes into a very tight and yet very fast chicane. This is one of the fastest parts of the course as they set up for the start-finish line stretch. And here they come down the long straightaway. They'll get up to around 140 miles an hour. A little over that, probably. And then they have to go into the left-hander, which swings them into a right-hand 180, and they're back out into the circuit again. This is a very friendly course for the fans. They can see everything. If you're sitting on this end of the field, you can see almost everything except the back two corners. Tremendous angles here for the fans. The rest of the field working its way around. There goes Tomczyk. Not anywhere near up front like he was at Nürburgring. And here comes Winkelhock after his excursion off the course from the help of Tiemann. He's not a happy driver. He has had a tough time this season. Things have not gone well for him. He didn't finish at Hockenheim, didn't finish at Nürburgring in the first qualifying race, didn't start the second race, the feature race at Hockenheim, and finished 13th finally in the race at the Nürburgring. So he's had a tough time. Fessler, Laurent Aiello, and look at this. Bernd Schneider is closing in. Everyone uses the curbs. It's amazing how these curbs will get used. This is a very fast right-hander here. And then they're on to the front straight again. The cars are running very, very quickly here. It's not a very slow course. The temperature is up a little bit today, and because the temperature is up, it slows things down just a little bit. They'll be up around an average of 95, 96 miles an hour. Uwe Alzen has now recorded the fastest lap here in the qualifying race. Alzen, another driver who is looking to make a name for himself. He left the Opel team last year. Actually, he was fired after a small on-track altercation with Manuel Reuter. He joined the Mercedes team, the Warsteiner Mercedes-AMG squad. His teammate is Marcel Fessler, who is up in front. So the pressure is on Alzen, one of the veteran touring car drivers, to come up with a good performance here. You're riding once again back in the pack with Tomczyk. He's running back in 10th position. Ahead of him is Jaeger, another of the young drivers in the Mercedes. Tomczyk did very well at the Nürburgring, actually led the race at one point. Things haven't gone quite the same for him here in Oschersleben. Marcel's crew letting him know where he is, who's where. As Fessler continues to lead, no one is really putting pressure on him. It doesn't look like Schneider's putting heavy pressure on the Audi of Laurent Aiello. You have to understand that there's only 3 points to win, 2 points for second, and 1 point for third in these qualifying races. So you push enough to keep your position, but not hard enough to do damage to the car or anybody else. Although after the race at the Nürburgring a couple weeks ago, that's hard to say, I guess. But there's plenty of breathing room here between first and second, and some breathing room between second and third. You can expect that if things continue the way they're going here right now, that this will most likely be the finish. You get a good look at that very tight chicane. Everybody just uses the curbs. See how they straighten that out by just running straight over the curbs. Down the backstretch into a longer chicane, a right-left combination here. Schneider's very quick through here, and he uses a very narrow line going through. And you can see that everybody uses the entire track. Curbs, they come out wide, they use every little bit of track they can to gain speed here. And it's a very difficult track to pass on because of that. And Marcel Fessler picks up the victory in the qualifying race here at Oschersleben, and will be starting on the pole position in the main race coming up shortly. Laurent Aiello is finishing second, followed by Bernd Schneider. Then comes Uwe Alzen, Peter Dumbreck, Matthias Ekström in the Audi. Another of the young drivers finishes sixth. Husmann seventh, Abt is eighth, Jaeger ninth, and Tomczyk is 10th. There you have it. The real problem is, though, you don't see the Opels until you get all the way down to 13th position. And there is Manuel Reuter. The Opels are just fighting and fighting to stay. So much for the fun and games. Let's get back to racing here in Oschersleben. Time for the main race of the day. They're going to be running 28 laps around this 2.28 mile circuit. The mechanics have had a short time to get the car ready. Now it's a matter of the fans waiting to see what happens here at Oschersleben. Third race of the season, Fessler on the pole, then comes Aiello. So we have the two cars that were up front, back up front again. Next to them, Uwe Alzen and Schneider. Mercedes still demanding attention. Dumbreck and then Ekström. Husmann is then next to Abt. So we have Mercedes and Audi. Then we have Jaeger and another Audi of Tomczyk. All attention's on the leaders. That's Fessler on the right in the black Mercedes, Aiello on the left in the yellow Audi. Way back in the pack, Winkelhock after his disappointing first race, waiting for the green. Let's see if Fessler gets another great jump. It looks like he has. We're underway down the long straightaway, and look at this. Marcel Fessler with a great start. On the right there is Bernd Schneider moving inside of Aiello. Is he going to get by? Yes, he is. So Aiello is quickly back into third place. Alzen is right behind him. So you have the leader, Fessler, Schneider. Then comes Aiello. Then comes Alzen, and Alzen gets inside and gets by him. And Aiello seems to be falling back just a little bit. Ekström gets by him. The young driver from Sweden in the Audi gets by him. Something may be wrong with his car. That's kind of a surprise. Marcel Tiemann also has moved up there, it looks like. Or is that Husmann? That's Husmann. He has moved up into the top group. So it's Fessler, then comes Schneider, then comes Alzen. Aiello is back into fourth position. Then comes Ekstrom. Then it is Husmann and Dumbreck. Dumbreck, the teammate from Bernd Schneider. Abt and Tomczyk round that group out. So the Opel still way back in the pack. Difficult time for them. Manuel at 14th is the best of the Opels in the field so far here in the main race. Another look going into the first left-right-hand combination after the start. Schneider has already gotten by. Well, not too much bumping going on. Last year in the same corner, it was Winkelhock who went sailing off into the grass, came across the field, and then we had cars all over the place. Very clean, very disciplined start here in Oschersleben in the third race weekend of the season in the German Touring Car Masters. Take a look at the back of the pack. Winkelhock way behind, a very unusual position for him. And the cars have already started to sort themselves out. Now they have to keep in mind, for those who are watching these races for the first time, these cars have to make a pit stop somewhere in the first 75% of the race. They have to make a 4-tire change. So everyone's going to try to get, first of all, some breathing room and as much space as they can ahead of the competition. The pit stops are taking anywhere from 6.9 to 8-9 seconds. And they can decide the race. It'll be interesting to see if people try different pit strategies. Some drivers have come in way early, hoping that when the others go in, that they can pull around and get up ahead. It's all a matter of strategy. It's all a matter of the crews deciding who's going to do what here. And Fessler gets a good jump now. He's got a good lead on Bernd Schneider. Something a little bit unusual. Alzen behind him, then Laurent Aiello, then comes Matthias Ekstrom. Those are your top 5. Behind them, Husmann, Dumbreck, Abt, Tomczyk. And you're riding with him right now. He's behind the boss, Christian Abt, who runs the Abt Sportsline racing team. He and his brother actually run it. His brother takes care of the crew and the pit work, and he takes care of the racing on the track. And he has to be very happy after last year when they had a miserable year. And now all of a sudden, they're more than competitive. They've won a race, in fact. They won at the Nürburgring, and they're competitive here. All 4 cars in the top 10. With the Mercedes. And the Opels, well, they're back just a little bit. In fact, they're more than just a little bit back. They're a long way back. The first Opel is around 15th right now. They've got a long way to go. That's the Opel right there. That is out in front. There is Bartels and his Opel. Olivier. Then Timo Scheider. He is in that black with the red hood. Scheider's the only Opel driver to come up with a point so far this season. The Opel driver is only with 1 point, and it's Scheider, young Timo Scheider, who has done it. And it's his consistency that has done it. Tomczyk coming in. This could be a strategic stop. All 4 are being changed. He comes out, and the idea being, of course, 7.6, not bad. The idea being he gets out on the track, and when everybody else comes back in, he will have made up the time if he can put in some good laps and take the lead. He'll come in. We'll get an idea where he is with the rest of the pack as he joins the circuit. Oh, and he made a mistake. The tires had not gotten warm. He went off the course into the grass. Well, that's the mistake of a newcomer. Back on the circuit again. Nobody got by him, but what he wanted to gain in the pits, he's lost by leaving the pits. Tough break for Martin Tomczyk in the Audi. Now he's just going to have to see what he can do to make up some time here. Aiello dropping back into fourth, although he is in a very strong fourth position. Somewhere in the beginning there was a problem, and he may have made a mistake with shifting or something, but he lost his second position after running very strong in the qualifying race. The slow car on the right there is Manuel, the independent. He had problems in the first race, had a DNF, didn't finish. It looks like he's got problems here in the main event. Here comes Dumbreck into the pits. So the second of the pits being made. Peter Dumbreck, the teammate of Bernd Schneider. He's out in 7.8. He's kind of hoping, I'm sure, that he's going to be able to make up some ground when everybody else pits. He's having his share of problems here. He's not running as strong as he has in the previous races. He's been a factor most of the time. He drops all the way back to, well, he's going to go all the way back to probably around 20th position after all is said and done here. And there's another look at Tomczyk's mistake coming out of the pit road. You get a chance to ride with him as he does it. So another lesson learned from Martin Tomczyk as he joins the world of German touring cars. And the two teammates are now running second and third. Something has happened here. Schneider has taken the lead. What happened? Looks like Fessler may have made a mistake there, and Bernd Schneider got by him, and now Uwe Alzen drops in behind him. So Bernd Schneider has suddenly taken the lead here. Fessler is running second. Uwe Alzen is running third. It's a Mercedes trio. Another of the Audis comes into pit. Christian Abt will change four and then get out. So drivers now are taking the change a little early. It's 28 laps, so you'd figure around 13, 14, or 15 they make the change. But some drivers are coming in much earlier. That's what happened. Marcel Fessler lost it in that very fast chicane, went off the course, picked up a lot of grass, and at the same time Bernd Schneider picked him up and passed him. So Bernd Schneider, the defending German Touring Car Masters driving champion, is once again out in front. Schneider won the races in Hockenheim, finished extremely well at the Nürburgring, qualified third, finished sixth in the qualifying race, and then second in the race. He has the points lead coming into the weekend. Aiello, who had been challenging him, is back now in fourth position. So as long as Schneider can keep Aiello behind him, Schneider picks up points all over the place. Marcel Fessler has to be kicking himself a little bit for the mistake he made. Now it's going to be a question of who's going to be able to beat the other one in the pits. That's the question. That is the point of these pit stops, is to see if they can make it a teamwork situation for the crews to have their effect on the race. Here comes that important left-hander. There's the first, then the second, and then a short left-hander that takes him into the 180 that brings him back around again. It has to be taken wide open. You make up time or lose time in a big way there. You come out of the corner, head into the very tight chicane over the curbs. See how they jump the curbs? And these are high curbs. These are not low curbs. It's really a jolt on the car. Schneider goes into the longer curve now, using every bit of the track that there is. And Fessler has not been able to make up any ground, but Schneider goes off the course. Bernd, who is affectionately known as the Dominator because of his success in touring cars, is pushing his Mercedes to the limit, but the young Marcel Fessler is staying right with him. Uwe Alzen is running third. And now you get a better look at the distance between the cars. The question now will be the pit stop. Schneider wants to show Fessler that he can pull away from him. Play a little head game here. And Fessler wants to stay as close as he can and then make the pit stop that might or might not decide the race here. Now's the time that the leaders will start thinking about the pit stop. More cars continue to come into the pits. This is Salins, the new driver, replacing Pedro Lamy. Lamy decided he didn't want to race in the series anymore, didn't feel the car was competitive, and David Salins, who also drives in Formula 3, has taken over that ride. Look at the distance now, how far back Laurent Aiello has fallen. That's somewhat surprising. And here comes Aiello into the pits. Let's see how quickly he can get out. Not too good. Awfully long. That hurts. That hurts. The time should be around 7 seconds or a little over. That was too long. He will not be able to make up much ground there. You can see as he comes out, everyone else has pretty much gone by him that was there, and he's going to have to play catch-up now. He falls in behind Dumbreck, and Dumbreck had already pitted. There's Dumbreck going on Hubert Haupt, about to lap him. Aiello will tuck in then behind Dumbreck as they have to work their way back up into the pack. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a very difficult haul for them. Aiello has dropped all the way back to 17th position in the field, but you have to remember everybody else has got a pit yet. And there's your leader. Where's Fessler? Alzen is running second. There's Fessler. He's coming into the pits. Marcel Fessler is making his pit stop. Now it's going to be critical for Schneider and Alzen. Are they going to be able to make theirs and hold their positions? Mercedes chief Norbert Haug talked about the pit stops.
Well, I think it's a very important part of the whole race, the strategy, the pit stop. I think if you lose only 1 second in the pits, you just cannot win the race.
So that's the question here. Can Marcel Fessler get out in time? He's going to be out in 7.9. Good time. Now the question is going to be, where does he come into the field? How does he work his way back in? Is he going to beat the rest of the pack out? He's out very, very quickly. He's out in 11th position. So he is ahead of Dumbreck. He is now ahead of the crew that has already pitted. But he's way back in 11th, waiting to see how everybody else does when they pit. Jochen Winkelhock, the man looking to get off a bad luck streak. One of the hardest competitors you're going to find in Germany as far as touring cars are concerned. He won the English championship. He's been tough in super touring cars. Went from BMW to Opel. But boy, he sure had his tough time this year. And coming up right behind him is Marcel Fessler. So Fessler continues to battle his way forward. And one of those who may or may not be victim real quick here is Winkelhock. Ekstrom comes into the pits. Another of the Audis trying to repeat their fine performance at the Nürburgring. And right behind them, sailing into the pits, is Christian Albers in a Mercedes. Bernd Schneider has not pitted as yet, nor has Uwe Alzen. And Uwe took a little bit of a different line through the chicane. He's known as an aggressive driver. That was just a little bit too much. Now let's see who's going to pit, if anybody is. It's Alzen. Alzen dives into the pits. Uwe Alzen brings his Mercedes in. He's going to have to get it down to 35 miles an hour real quick. Right about here. So Alzen is pitted. Your leader is still Bernd Schneider. Alzen, of course, hoping to hold his position. But it will sort itself out very quickly, as we have seen in the first 2 races. Once again, you can see the teamwork, as the teams have really worked on getting these cars in and out, although that was very long, 8-4. Alzen comes out and has to duck in. Ducks right in behind Dumbreck. So Dumbreck's early pit stop was quicker than Alzen's and kept him out there. There is Laurent Aiello. He had a very long pit stop. Didn't do himself any good. And here comes Bernd Schneider, your leader. Bernd Schneider comes into the pits. And at this moment, if the score chart is right, then Marcel Tiemann, the driver substituting for Bernd Mailander, is taking the lead. Schneider is out in 8.7. That was long. Let's see where he comes out. Watch carefully. On the left is the main course. There is Fessler. Fessler beats him out. Marcel Fessler beats Schneider out. And as soon as Tiemann heads to the pits, Fessler will be your official leader again. It's amazing what these pit stops will do. The field now has just about sorted itself out. Manuel Reuter is sandwiched in between the 2 drivers here in his Opel. He is out of contention, basically. He is way back in the pack. In fact, he's around, well, at least 10th position. And he has to go in yet. He's had his share of problems. Laurent Aiello behind Dumbreck. So if the chart does come up right, it looks like Aiello is running around 5th position. There comes Marcel Tiemann. Tiemann replaced Mailander. Mailander broke his heel bone while he was jogging on Friday. They quickly got Marcel Tiemann in. Tiemann is sitting in the car doing extremely well for him. There is Dumbreck, who is now running in 4th position. Laurent Aiello is running in 5th. The leader, once again, is Marcel Fessler. What a great time for this young driver. He has put on a tremendous show here in Oschersleben. In the newspaper reports after the first 2 race weekends, Fessler did very well down in Hockenheim. In fact, he had qualified 13th, and then he had one of the great weekends of recovery. He finished 7th in the qualifying race and finished 2nd in the race. And after that one, the Swiss press started building up Marcel Fessler. And in that race, he had to finish behind Bernd Schneider, and the Swiss press was upset. They felt that Mercedes had already set up a team order and that they had told Fessler not to try to get by Bernd Schneider. Well, now we're going to find out, because Bernd Schneider has pulled up right on the back bumper of Marcel Fessler. The situations are reversed. Mercedes says there is no team order. We'll find out, especially after all the talk about Formula One and the team order that was displayed there in Ferrari. Fessler, one of the young drivers, is now going to see what it's like to have a veteran pro sit right on his back bumper waiting for him to make a mistake. The 2 cars obviously are quite equal, and that was the purpose of the rules. Schneider seems to be able to pick up space in the curves, and Fessler makes it up on the straightaway. Both of them using up the entire circuit. It can't be any tighter than this. 2 Mercedes, the youngster and the veteran, running 1 and 2 here in Oschersleben. Norbert Haug, the team manager, paying attention very closely to what's going on here. He can't be too upset, actually. His Mercedes are all right up there in front. He has Alzen running back in third position. Dumbrek is running in fourth. And then comes the Audi of Aiello. And when it comes to the Opels, well, they're back just a little bit. And once again, it looks like Timo Schneider is the best of the Opels. He is. He's running back in 12th position, so the young Timo Schneider continues to be very consistent here. He's the only driver to score a point for the Opels. He qualified 17th, finished 18th in the qualifying race, but now he's up near point territory, running in 12th position. And this is the battle for the lead that hasn't changed. Schneider has not found any way to get around Marcel Fessler. So we mentioned Fessler's performance at Hockenheim, qualified 13th, finished 7th and 2nd. And then at the Nürburgring, he qualified 4th and finished 8th and 5th. He qualified here in the pole. He took the qualifying race. Now he's leading the main race. The young Swiss driver proving that Mercedes made a good choice here. Alzen, right there in the back, in the black Mercedes, you can see he's way back. And behind him is Peter Dumbrek. Dumbrek has also been very consistent, and sort of everybody's playing him down. He is the partner of Bernd Schneider, who is running second here. Dumbrek qualified second at Hockenheim. He finished second and third. He qualified 9th at the Nürburgring and finished 3rd and 8th. He qualified 5th here, finished the qualifying race in 5th position, and is currently running in 4th. So the young driver from England is doing extremely well. Oh, that gets a little bit tight. But everybody gets it straightened out. Peter Dumbrek has not done badly. He drove last year for the first time in the series. Coming into the weekend, he was 5th in the points. You're riding with Patrick Hoosman now as he comes sailing in his battle. And that was Thomas Jaeger that was sandwiched in that group. And one of the Audis is going to be parked. So it isn't quite the weekend that Audi wanted to have, but it will have to do. It's not bad after all. Fessler's team letting him know where he is, and I'm sure that Fessler can tell that Schneider is second right behind him. Mercedes running 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then the Audi of Aiello is running in 5th position. So the Audis continue to drive well. The car has improved immensely. It has proven it can win. Now it just needs a little luck. There was a difficult time at the start of this race. And from that point on, though, Laurent Aiello has been battling, trying to get back into it. Hadn't quite been able to do it. Bernd Schneider continues to push. Now, Schneider is not one of your, what I would say, overly aggressive drivers. Very aggressive, wants to win, but he's not going to come up and give you a bump to try to get by. Some other drivers might do that. But I don't think that, in this case, Bernd Schneider is going to do that. But he certainly is going to put the heat on. The Audi that went out, incidentally, was Martin Tomczyk. So the young driver who did so well at Nürburgring is out here in Oschersleben. Fessler continues to hold on. He's driving very, very smoothly, has not shown any weaknesses whatsoever. Schneider has not been able to pull out any kind of stop to be able to get by. Everyone is currently aware that Fessler made the mistake early that let Schneider get by him for a few laps. Then the pit stop put Fessler out in front of Schneider once again. Will Fessler make the same mistake again? Who knows? Here is that left-hander. That whole series of lefts that are keys to going into this corner and coming out of it toward the chicane. You get a great view of the track here. as they head into the chicane. Out into the back section, and Schneider goes way off on the course. He's using every bit of the road and more, trying to get by Marcel Fesler. And so far, the young Swiss driver is not giving an inch. It's great racing. Schneider, the defending champion, won the races in Hockenheim, took the pole, took the qualifying race, took the race. Nürburgring qualified third, finished sixth in the qualifying race, second in the race, so he has plenty of points. Here he qualified third in the qualifying race, and now challenging for the lead in second position. Alzen is running back in third, and Uwe just doesn't seem to be a part of this particular game that's being played up front. Alzen hasn't had too bad a season. He had a difficult time at the Nürburgring when the car broke on the last lap of the major race. He ended up 19th. He'd been running well up to that point. At Hockenheim, he finished 5th and 4th. He finished 4th here in the qualifying race, currently running 3rd. So Alzen will stay up there in the points race. Mercedes couldn't be much happier as far as the points are going to be concerned, because Aiello is further back, and if the stays about as it is now, that means that Fesler would move up into second place in the points. No matter what, Bernd Schneider is going to remain out in front. Now we've got the problem of a lapped car ahead of them. Hubert Haupt, who had been racing in the United States, came back to Germany to run in the German Touring Car Masters. That's him going by right there. He does not really have a big role in this, so he probably will give them plenty of room to get by. But it's going to be a little time yet before we get that far. Schneider, there he is in 12th place, the best of the Opels. Olivier, 13th in an Opel. Bartels in an Opel, 15th. Manu, 17th in an Opel. And Reuter, 18th in an Opel. There's going to be a long break between this race and the next one, which will be at the Sachsenring. About 4 weeks there, and Volker Stritzek from Opel simply says, we got a lot of work to do, and we got time to do it this one. Then there's another short break there before they get to the Norris Ring. So Opel, if they're going to do anything to try to get back into the swing of things here, they've got some time. Are they going to be able to do it? That's the question. The battle remains up front. Hubert Haupt is your lapped car here, the orange and white Opel. The Euro team is about to be lapped. There comes Uwe Alzen. Then comes Peter Dumbreck. And there is the first Audi of Laurent Aiello. He's followed by Christian Abt. And then comes Matthias Ekstrom. So the Audis are doing quite well for themselves. 5th, 6th, and 7th position. When you think about last year, and they were lucky to finish in the top 15 or 20. And this year, they're up in the top 10, top 5. It's a great turnaround. There were some rules changes over the winter to help these cars, which are just a little bit shorter than the other cars. And the aerodynamic change alone seems to have made the difference. So now the leaders are going to have to get by Hubert Haupt. Let's see if Haupt gives him room. He pulls way over, and they go by. Haupt gave him plenty of room to get by into the left-handers. So now it's up to Bernd Schneider to see if he can catch Marcel Fesler here in the waning laps of the third race weekend in the German Touring Car Masters. Today from Oschersleben, near the city of Magdeburg, Germany. This is one of the newer circuits in Germany. One of the more modern circuits. The one thing it has as a problem is because it's so fast, it really is quite narrow. It's built wide, but the cars go so quick that they can't get by. It really is difficult to pass here if you have equal cars like you do right here. These two, Fesler and Schneider. They are basically equal, and there is nowhere to try to outbrake somebody. It's just too tight. And Fessler just keeps a very cool head. It's beautiful driving. No mistakes. The car hasn't even wiggled. And Schneider can't get much closer. But Schneider, as you see, is using every bit of the road. He goes off the course. Once again, Norbert Haug. But he has to be happy no matter what happens. He's got the first 4 cars in the field. A great crowd here in Oschersleben. It's the largest one of the season so far. 58,000 for the weekend. The nice thing is they had great weather here. At Hockenheim and at the Nürburgring, the weather was less than ideal. You couldn't blame the fans for not turning out in big numbers. But here in Oschersleben, a whole bunch of racing fans that have been hungry for racing for years. Now they got it. And they've turned out for it. It's just the Opel fans who love to set out those yellow flares when their teams are doing so well have kind of got to hold back a little bit and hope for better things to come in the second time around. Fessler right now just is sitting there. He's holding on. He's in the last lap. As long as he doesn't make a mistake, his first victory is there. Take a look and see what happened here. Salins is unceremoniously bumped off the course by Manuel Reuter. So that's his baptism of German Touring Car Masters. There'll be more races ahead for him as he he's taking the place of Pedro Lamy on the Keke Rosberg team in a Mercedes. Let's see if Schneider can do anything. Schneider pushed too hard. Schneider pushed too hard off the course. It's over. Marcel Fessler just needs to bring it home. The young Swiss driver is about to pick up his first victory in German touring car racing. Now the pressure is off. The only pressure that's on him is inside of him. Butterflies or whatever else. He knows he's got the championship event here in Oschersleben. It's his. And all he's got is two more corners. The straight, the corner, and his team will be awaiting him. Here he comes. Marcel Fessler wins at Oschersleben, his first victory in German touring cars. Bernd Schneider finishes second, Uwe Alzen third, but it's a happy Mercedes crew. And so Marcel Fessler, the weight is off. He's picked up the victory. The 25-year-old can now smile when he goes home tonight. Bernd Schneider holds on to the lead in the points race. But it's this man that will be celebrating in the Mercedes tent tonight. Marcel Fessler held off the defending champion. And you know he has to be happy.
It's a very great day for me. It was a nice weekend. I was in the pole the first time. It's now my first victory. I'm very happy, and my crew was very good because I did a mistake in the race and they make a really good pit stop for me. So we could retake the lead, and I'm very happy.
Well, you also have to look, as you look at the standings, that the Audis have to be happy. 5th, 6th, and 7th. A great finish for the Audis here in Oschersleben. The best of the Opels, once again, Timo Scheider in 12th position. And now it's time to celebrate. It'll be a Mercedes podium. And a very happy Mercedes crew as Marcel Fessler in the middle. Bernd Schneider on the left, Uwe Alzen on the right, and a happy crew to celebrate. Champagne time. So now everybody's attention has to start looking toward the Sachsenring. Of course, the team men just are going to have to dry off after the champagne shower. Bernd Schneider, your point leader. Marcel Fessler has taken over second place. Laurent Aiello is third. Peter Dumbreck is fourth. Take a look at the rest of the team. Well, Schneider remains with 1 point, the only Opel driver to come up with a point. The thing that hurt Bernd Schneider, the pit stop.
I'm a little bit disappointed about second place because I was leading the race and we lost first place during our pit stop. I think the strategy was not good as one from Marcel Fessler, and this was the reason we lost. But on the other hand, I have to think in the championship, and for this, I think a second place is a good place you can live with.
I think that was a nice race with a hard fight with Bernd Schneider, especially in the first run. The car was quite good. I had in the beginning of the first race a little problem in the rear axle. I don't know what it is. I'm absolutely happy. I'm motivated for the next race in 4 weeks in Sachsenring. We will see. What we need is a little bit luck, and then maybe that we go one step higher on the podium.
And so that does it for our coverage of the German Touring Car Masters Round 3 in Oschersleben. This is Milt Fitzwater. Hope you'll join us when our next event will be at the Sachsenring. The German Touring Car Masters, the best touring car racing in Germany.